Today I got the great pleasure again of introducing Gerald Celente. Gerald's the founder of trendsresearch.com and an author. And I hope I don't embarrass you by saying you're a great visionary as well, Gerald. Thank you for coming on the show.
Well, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And when I say visionary for the future, I mean that is what you do, isn't it? You tell people that the future by looking at the trends and what's going on at the moment, which is sometimes a bit of a ghastly thing to have to face. But as I said, I talk very straight from the heart and matter of fact, as you do yourself. And if we don't look at what the future is doing at the moment, it's almost killing us. So thank you, Gerald. I'm so happy to hear you talking, Gerald, about the Great Awakening. I've got your synopsis here that I've got about the 2013. When's it coming out? Tomorrow or the next day, I think?
Well, the Trends Journal, our publication, actually this one's 60 pages.
Wow.
And no advertisements. Advertising's free.
Yeah.
And it's coming out tomorrow, Wednesday.
Fantastic. I really look forward to that. I really enjoyed the last one. It was great, And so much, like I said, that's why I admire you so much, Gerald. And I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I don't want to embarrass you, but it's the truth. Doing what you're doing and saying what you're saying, it's a big deal. It really is. You're a great mouthpiece for truth, and we need that so desperately now. And people are realizing that all over the world. And thank goodness for you and the team there. So thank you all very much. Okay, let's look at the top trends for 2013. We've got the synopsis: War, Peace, and Awakening. Renaissance or ruin. I'm delighted to hear you talking about the Great Awakening, Gerald. It's so exciting to hear you talking about that. You talk about it so well, and it's got to be talked about. Now, I've said many times, if we can't face our situation, it's like a map. If we can't see where we are, we're never going to know where we're going, and we've got to face, even if it's brutal, we've got to face. And I like the Renaissance because I just looked the word Renaissance up in the dictionary. I told you I didn't go to school much, and it comes from the Italian word, of course, yeah, Rinascimento, and renescere, which means to be reborn. So talk a little bit about the Renaissance or ruin. I'd say transformation or annihilation is that kind of thing.
Yes, it is. Let's go to the Great Awakening. What happened here in the States, when it was the colonies, was that first it was a religious revival. And people came to understand that, no, there isn't just one religion to follow, and that your salvation really depends upon who you are and how you live your life. It's not dictated by a higher religious authority. And regardless of what religion you believe in, salvation is all the same. It's your deeds on earth, if you believe in salvation, will send you on in a different way. If you live a life that's filled with crime and distrust and deceit, then that's your salvation. That's what you'll go into. And if you live one believing in the gods that you believe in or God that you believe in and follow that, then you will have a salvation that mirrors that. So that was the first part of the Great Awakening. The second part of it was an understanding that there is no royalty out there. There's no royal blood. King George, take it easy. You're not better than anybody else. Stop giving us your orders and dictates for us to follow. So works like Common Sense from Thomas Paine came out of that. And that was the foundation upon which the American Revolution was founded. That there is no royal blood. You don't bow down to anybody because they think their mother is better than yours. So that is also what's happening now. You look around the world, it's a new nobility. They don't call themselves kings and queens. They're chancellors and prime ministers and presidents. Any time these clowns show up, they got a red carpet, they got a bunch of flunkies dressed up in costumes saluting them, they have the paparazzi taking pictures, they run through town like those old movies where the stagecoach came ripping through town, knocking over people because the king of the noblemen were in a hurry. It's the same thing now. They close down airspace. They close down highways so the plebes don't get in the way, Hey, the royalty has to swing by. Yeah. So there's this outrage over this. And you look at polls in the United States, Congress is now rated lower than cockroaches and colonoscopies. And I'm not making that up. That's a fact.
I absolutely.
So now we're looking at that great awakening. On the Renaissance end, there's people are understanding that these clowns, these people with the mentality, the stupidity, and the arrogance of King George III, the SOB, I think, died in a mental hospital. They're running the country and the world. Yeah, I know their names, and so does everybody. You got the wanker Cameron over there. You got the bullshitter in chief over here, Obama. You got that little Hollandaise over there, Hollande, over in France. These little guys couldn't fight their way out of a paper bag, and they're starting world wars. Now they're in Mali. Oh, and they're wondering, is Al-Qaeda going to strike against France? For France going in with aircraft and killing people all over the place in Mali? Oh, no, you can't. No, only we could fight. You can't fight back mentality. So before that happens, we're pushing for a renaissance. And the Renaissance, when you go back to Europe, it followed the Black Plague. It was the realization that people were living lives that were destructive. As you said, a rebirth, reborn. Alle Romana e alla Antica, in the manner of the Romans and the ancients, is what the Italians said to describe the quality of what they were producing, their work, their art, their crafts.
Exactly.
So that's what we're looking at. And what we're going to be announcing in this Trends Journal, and you'll be receiving it tomorrow.
Great.
Gerald Celente's 4 rules of peace. I'm not going to go into them now, but I believe it's a peace plan. It is unique. It will bring peace if people support it. If they don't support it, I'm asking everybody to send me what they believe are better solutions. Because if we don't fight for peace now, we'll be dying for war very soon. The psychopaths in chief are taking us to war, not only in Mali and North Africa, Syria, next is Iran, and next is going to be World War III.
Absolutely, Gerald. Very well said. I mean, I can't. It's just fantastic, and I agree. You've got to do some kind of peace plan. They're talking about peace plans, but it's always war plans. It's not peace plans. They're insane. They're maniacs. Like in the last journal you did with. Go on. Sorry, Gerald.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They're maniacs. They're insane. But so too are the damn peaceniks. At least the crazies know what they're doing. They take, as we point out in this Trends Journal, we have a big section on war. There are 4 stages that they set you to war, and they know what the outcome is going to be. The countries are going to rally around and take them there. The peaceniks, on the other hand, they keep doing the same damn stupid things over and over again. It's like Einstein said, doing the same thing over and over again. It's insanity and expecting different results. They never bring peace. They have petitions. They have marches. Oh, I love it over here. We're near Woodstock, New York. They go out in silent protest, the women dressed in black. Oh, yeah, they've been doing it for 12 years now. It's really working great. So we need something that's going to work.
Yeah.
And I believe that this peace plan is going to work if people follow it.
Like you said, there's no way. What we've been doing isn't working. There's no doubt about it. And people, even with the Occupy was great, wasn't it? But it's worth the 99%. I bet the 1% is looking at them and saying, "Yeah, you're damn right you are. You keep remembering that, So we need, at some point, you do need action, and that's why I don't go along with a lot of the things. What you resist persists. You mustn't look at anything negative in the spiritual circles, and all the rest of it, Gerald. It's time for action. We can't wait for these maniacs to change. I mean, Netanyahu, in my opinion, I'll say it here and now, I'm not frightened to say it, that man should be put in a mental hospital immediately. That guy's mad. And he's taken the word, and everyone's scared to say it because he's Israeli. I don't care. The guy's a nutcase, and he should be put in a mental hospital because he is the biggest threat to humanity now. He is, but so we can't wait for these people to change, as you know, Gerald. We've got to change now. We've got to do something about it. And I think until we turn our backs on these people, They're not going to change. They're too steeped in madness and greed, and they can't stop wars, you know. Like you said, Mali, look at Mali now. I just looked at the, what was it, the AFRICOM thing. It's comical what they say. We're bringing justice, we're bringing peace. No, you're not. You're going there probably for the minerals and the oil. And haven't you done enough to the black man? I mean, I was shot at in Cape Town. I know what it's like there, you know. I used to follow cars with white police beating little white kids up. It's unbelievable. And they're not going to change it. So absolutely. We, as a society, have got to change things ourselves. It's no good going on these marches. Hell, we're like Oliver Twist with our balls. Please, sir, give me more. It's got to change now, and it's got to change with people changing themselves, as you said. We've got to change. And we're in a new, I've written here in my book about the birth of a new epoch. Epoch, the word comes from the Greek word epoche, which means stoppage. So it's like something's stopping, Gerald. It's an epoch, new epoch. It's like a pregnancy. When you're pregnant, the pregnancy stops, and then you've got to give birth. If we don't give birth now to another system, we've had it, as you know, and I'm glad to hear you saying that you're putting some kind of plan together. We can't just keep waiting for these people. They're insane, Gerald.
Well, they are. And again, you'll be receiving it tomorrow, and you're free to, talk about it as much as you like, go over it. It's in detail. And then we're going to be following up with a video as well in a week or so.
Excellent.
So that's some of the trends. The other one, and the other trends that we're looking at is the economy. And of course, I don't have to tell you what's going over there in Europe. It's only going to get worse. They're saying the worst is over now. That's the word from the European Union. No, it isn't. It's just covering it up a little bit more. They're printing more money. You look at the news, what's going on in China. They're dumping money into the system to keep it going. You look at the new Prime Minister of Japan, Abe. They're putting more, he's forcing the Bank of Japan to print more money. The United States, we're printing more money. In the EU, they have lovely names. I love it. Long-term refinancing operations, LTRO. Yeah, pumping money into the system, or ongoing monetary transactions, White shoe boy language for dumping cheap dough into the system. So our economic forecast for 2013 is more of the same, but worse.
Yeah, if we don't do something about it. And that's why I'm glad to hear you putting in a plan, whatever it is. I'll be excited to read it, Gerald, and I'll support it absolutely and talk about it as much as I can, because I know it'll be something sensible from you. And I still can't believe these people are talking about, the recovery. It's like trying to resuscitate a dead corpse that's already killed you. It's a Frankenstein's monster, this economy, Gerald, that's killed us. And I'm glad you put me right last time when I mentioned something like this. You said it's not the currency, it's the people using it. And I was glad you said that to me, because it made me look at it slightly differently, But, the system that's in place is killing us. There's no doubt about it. And they're trying to bring back the same thing, and it'll kill us again and again and again. It's built on short-term greed and fear, Gerald. And until we change that, it's going to kill us as humanity. Imagine someone looking from another planet. Look at those people. It's like an asylum. It's gone mad. We've got to stop handing our power over to these maniacs and somehow escape the tyranny. There's no doubt about it.
Well, one of the things, people, they think that there's a conspiracy theory.
Oh, I hate that, don't you? I hate that word now, conspiracy. We got to...
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. So they think there's an Illuminati, pulling the strings. If there's an Illuminati behind the scenes, they have the un-Illuminati doing their dirty work. Because, again, when you look at the names, you mentioned Netanyahu, go down the line, Merkel, Monti, Draghi. You go around the world, it's one crazy,
sick people.
It's one sociopath after another. So there is a new world order, however, and it's not a conspiracy.
No, it's the truth.
The new world order is the banking order.
Yeah.
And the banking, nothing has changed. It goes back to the days of that, famous in the scriptures of Jesus Christ driving the money changers out of the temple. The only time the Prince of Peace becomes violent, to pick up a whip to drive these people out of the temple. So the money changers were destroying the people back then. So the money changers changed their names. Now they're called Deutsche Bank. They're called Credit Suisse.
Exactly.
They're called Wells Fargo. They're called Citigroup. They're called the Goldman Sachs gang, the Merrill Lynch mob, the Deutsche Bank bandits. That's all they are. It's the same ones that Christ was changing out. They just changed their clothes and put on a different act.
And it's that ethical compromise thing. I keep warning people about it. It's not profound. It's common sense. It's that they just can't control themselves, Gerald. It's like putting a kid in a sweet shop, or a child in charge of a nuclear reactor. These people can't control their lust for greed and power. So there's no ceiling when it comes to what they'll do to get more and control. And that worries me. And I was looking at the trends synopsis again here. You were talking about the trends. Recognizes that these things that are all entwined. They're not only connected but accumulative. Cumulative, Gerald. And I talk about the feedback loops, and I like when you were talking about that. I look forward to that in the journal, because these idiots, and I'm sorry, they're idiots, without vision and wisdom, and that's why they're causing so much problem. You put people in power without vision and wisdom, like the Iraqi Indians used to look 7 generations down the line with most decisions they made. These people aren't even looking down the path to their children's future, because they're so, tied into that lust and for money. But the consequences down the line, Gerald, the feedback loops, they haven't even come back towards us now, just from decisions that have been made now and before. And they'll knock our teeth out, and I'm glad to hear you talking about that in there.
Well, again, these people, it's not they're not like children in a candy shop. What they're more like is an addict, a heroin addict, or a cocaine addict. These are money junkies. They need a money fix. So when you're an addict, you have no bounds or boundaries.
Exactly.
All you want to do is satisfy your addiction, and they're addicted to power and money.
Yeah.
And that's all this is. So when you're absolutely right about lacking vision and wisdom. They're concerns of power and authority or money. So that's what we have. Again, it's the new world order. It's the banking order. It cannot be clearer. Mm-hmm. You're seeing what they're doing over in Europe by consolidating all the banks under the umbrella of Brussels. And you saw what happened in Germany recently when the Supreme Court ruled against their own constitution and allowing the banks to be taken over by a central power outside of Germany. So again, these are the people that finance the wars, that back the wars, that are the wars. And as you aptly pointed out, in Africa, it's about uranium, it's about gold, it's about copper, it's about zinc, it's about rare earth minerals and natural resources. And they always use the baloney lines, and morons still buy it, that they're engaging in these activities because they want to bring freedom and democracy to the repressed people, and of course to stamp out Al-Qaeda. There used to be Al Capone, now there's Al-Qaeda. This guy must really be big, man, He must have some family out there.
And they're working and paying them anyway, from what I've been told. It's just bizarre that the population believes such tripe, It's incredible. But I just want to ask you something quickly, Gerald. We haven't got much time left. It's gone. It's crazy, Ironically, it's the dislocation and the suppression that's waking people up, That's the irony for me. That's what's fascinating. So it's the very thing that's putting people to sleep, the anesthetic of the system. It's like someone strangling them. It's like the system's got a pillow over their face, over humans' faces. But thank God, I'm really inspired to see that people aren't just lying there and letting it suffocate them. They're struggling under the pillow at last. So it's that dislocation and that suppression that's actually waking people up. But, can you see us moving forward in building systems without this mad government, Gerald? Well, surely that's what we've got to do. It seems so daunting. It seems impossible almost, doesn't it? Because we're so brainwashed that we've got to have them to lead us. And I mean, we all want to be spoon-fed. I want to be spoon-fed. We're like babies. But we've got to grow up now and realize they're killing us. It's as simple as that.
Yes, and one of the other trends we have in this Trends Journal is called secession progression.
Yeah.
And it was written by my dear friend who just passed on, may his soul rest in peace, Thomas Naylor, who was the head of the Second Vermont Republic, and a pacifist, by the way. And he was a professor emeritus in economics at Duke University, a very learned and gentle man. And he really schooled me into how the systems are too big to operate, and they're just getting bigger and bigger. So one of the solutions to secession is that countries break down into smaller units. They're too big to operate. just as the Soviet Union collapsed under its own weight. So too are all these other governments. So the answer to us is that things have to get smaller. Countries have to downsize. That doesn't mean you can't have a union of some sorts, but you need independence. It's just like, how does a change begin? The change begins with the individual. The individual understanding that they're responsible for their actions. And what they put into this life, they get out of the life.
Absolutely.
So it begins with the individual, then it begins with the community. I try to do everything I can to support my community. I buy local, shop local. I support the farmers. I support everything I can local. So then it goes into the secession being a little bigger than that. So yes, the answers are there. And as you point out, people have to sometimes, it has to be a shock that comes to you before you change. And it goes back to the Renaissance. The Renaissance followed the Black Death. I mean, how much more poignant could it be? 60% of the people are dying around you. You get it in your head. You're not doing things right. Let's change the course. And I believe that the course is now being changed. We're on the beginning of this great awakening, a great shift, and it's up to us to create a brighter future.
There's definitely a great awakening, Gerald, and I say to people now, it is shocking when you learn about this stuff, but actually it's quite liberating because it makes you realize why you didn't feel right for so many years in the system. It's like, actually, I didn't feel right for a reason because it's not right, It's not. I think our 20 minutes is already up, Gerald. We're going to have to close in a minute, But one more thing before you go. Yeah, one more thing before you go, Gerald. I've said before, and I want a quick take on this. A lot of people have suffered for thousands of years to get us to this point in humanity. A lot of people have died. A lot of people have suffered and tried to work for a better system. What you say to that? I mean, people, surely we can't let this system collapse. People have suffered for thousands of years to get us to this point. Please make one point on that before you go.
Yeah, again, it's only the individual. It's not we, it's I, it's you. People have to realize, how are you going to leave this trip? You see, I'm alone in this world. Everybody I love is dead. I was married for 23 years. I'm divorced a long time. Have no kids. All my relatives that are close to are all gone. So I'm not holding on to anything.
Yeah.
So, my motto of the Trends Journal is think for yourself. And so what I'm saying is only the way I see things. I'm not telling other people what to believe. And as I see it, hell is taking that last breath of life and knowing that you lied to yourself.
I was just going to say
you weren't the person who you said you were or could have been. So, again, it's only about the individual reaching the highest levels within themselves. When enough people change, then everything changes. It's as old as the history.
We'll almost have utopia on Earth if everyone did change to that level. There's no doubt about it, Gerald. Definitely. Thank you very much. Yeah.
Well, thank you, and thanks for having me on.
Thanks, Gerald, for coming on. It's very kind of you, and please keep up the great work, and we'll see you again soon. Thank you very much. Thank you, Gerald.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Bye, Gerald.